Hey everybody. So, welcome back, and I'm doing this a little differently than I originally intended, but that's because it seems like there's not going to be much of an actual need to go ahead and do a full playthrough for other characters. Let's just say that I've been very used to, over the past several expansions, going back to, say, Warlords. Now, I didn't start recording during Warlords, I started recording during Legion. But if I had been recording Warlords, I would have done two separate playthroughs. One as a Horde character, one as a Alliance character, because as you guys know, the quest lines and storylines in Shadowmoon Valley and Frostwolf... actually, hold on, what was the name of that zone? In Draenor. Yeah, Frostfire Ridge. In Frostfire Ridge, that was a zone with a story that was mainly for your Horde character that set up your garrison there, because that's where the Horde garrison was. And if you're an Alliance character, you set up your garrison here in Shadowmoon Valley, and there was a separate quest line and storyline there for Alliance characters. So I would have done two separate playthroughs, mainly covering those zones, and then covered the story in the other zones, probably on my whatever character was my main. Obviously, in Legion, there was also, a quest, storyline for every class, which is, you could have done playthroughs for each class in that expansion. In BFA, there was mainly two playthroughs that could be done as a Horde character and as an Alliance character because of the, various different storylines and vast different quest lines that happened on the two separate continents that they each had. In Shadowlands, there was 4 playthrough opportunities, one for each covenant. In Dragonflight, it seems as if there is not really opportunities for multiple playthroughs. It seems like really what's going on here is that they are just simply letting you play your main, and then you can do what you want with your alts. It's not like there is separate content for alts, except maybe this right here. And this is why I'm going to go ahead and show this, because I think so far, from what I've seen, the only difference that may actually be worth showing on camera is the experience of heading there. Now, what's funny is that you basically end up in the same place, but of course, heading there are two different things. Now, I've already shown you guys what it was like on launch day on my Horde character, with all the, Horde players around the Zeppelin area, and then we hop on the Zeppelin, and we fly on over to the Dragon Isles. Here on the Alliance, instead, what we have is what we've done before, which is here on the Stormwind docks, and then we hop on a ship to sail on over there. This has been the case for the Alliance for a very long time, going back to the days of Wrath, where players would be sitting here on the docks waiting for the boat over here to take them to the Borean Tundra. If that's where you wanted to go ahead and start your questing as an Alliance character, just go ahead and starting off here. If you were, however, going to go to the other zone, you'd have to make your way up here to the wetlands, and you would have to go over here to head to the Howling Fjord. So, but it's always usually been via ship compared to Zeppelins on the Horde side. So this may be one of the only reasons to actually show any kind of content on this Alliance character I have, which I've been gravitating towards having this be my alt, because I was really liking what I was seeing with the Demo Warlock. And there are other classes that I'm feeling good about and think look pretty good, but I was really enjoying testing out the Demo Warlock during the pre-patch stuff. If you're curious, at level 60, this is my build at the moment, but of course, what I love about this talent tree system is that I can change these on the fly almost whenever I want, to just constantly test and experiment with different things. And I just love that they seem to be continuously feeding into the idea that I wanted them to do, which was just let this spec... If you want to have your Warlock be like the sorcerer damage, obviously you can play as Affliction or Destruction for AoE damage and such, but I've always enjoyed the fantasy idea behind Demo, having an army of demons to do your bidding and command them to do all the damage and such. And, some of the stuff that we're used to is still here, the Grimoire Felguard, the Demonic Tyrant, he's still here, but one of the things they've done that I think is really cool Nether Portal has gotten some, a really cool change, which is this one right here, Gul'dan's Ambition. Summoning a pit, when the portal ends, you summon a pit lord that gains power based on how many demons you have summoned during the time the portal was up to 20. And the pit lord will then last for 10 seconds, and he can do a lot of damage. Like, I've seen people posting screenshots online. The pit lord can do a lot of damage if you manage your cooldowns and your summonings correctly. But the bottom line is what I'm getting at here is that this might be the only video I do on this character for this expansion, because it seems like there's really no other content that's specific for your class or your faction in this expansion, which can be a good thing. Now, I've actually already shown these conversations on this character before, so there's really not much reason to do so. If you want to see what the conversations were, by the way, in case you're curious, yeah, I was trying to kind of gear up this character in preparation in case I was going to use her as an alt. She still has some heirloom pieces on, but fortunately with the system that's up right now, I can change that. And that's another reason I wanted to go ahead and do this, was because...
What adventure brings you here? Can I join?
Great news, Zayla! The spearhead of our expedition has made landfall in the Dragon Isles. Thanks to the efforts of yourself and other Dragon-scale expedition members, we've established a protected landing site and made contact with the Dragonflight's embassy. Are you prepared to accompany us on our next voyage to the Dragon Isles?
The expedition boat shouldn't be long now. Make a friend or two while you wait for it.
So, I want to also go ahead and show this to you guys, a couple of things, especially as an alt after you have done the main campaign. So you can see one of the things they've added here is this little feature showing you the time remaining until the next transportation arrives. I love that. Just to let players know, hey, it's almost here, just wait a little patiently. You'll also notice right away this has already changed, and you get access to all your glyphs, and you can set up your dragon riding immediately. And one of the things that I think is a great little, change, and this carries over from Shadowlands. If there's one thing that I can feel like I can speak positively about, even though it did have some issues, but it was something I really liked, which was the... that's funny that you can see that all the way over there in the distance. But I loved the Threads of Fate system that they introduced in Shadowlands for alts. Now, you'll notice also there is no scenario here to start off the expansion like there was for the past couple of expansions, where you had to go through this scenario and then you finally made it to the main area. There is nothing like that here. It's just, hey, we're just going to take you to the main area, and you can get started.
Explorers ahoy!
Ah, the rugged dragon scale. All aboard for adventure, my friends.
Ah! Corkscrews! The boat ruined my perfect shot! I almost had it.
You'll get lots of pictures in the Dragon Isles, Wolford. Imagine all the ancient wonders we'll be discovering.
I still say we could have crammed into my mole machine and gotten there faster.
We Drakthir would rather fly home than ride a wooden vessel as it drifts upon the waves. But I pledge to accompany your expedition, so... waves it is.
It's obviously a little different compared to hopping on the big war zeppelin that the Horde has. But, I mean, there's, of course, something great about...
airships would be faster than plodding along in this boat.
You really want to fly an airship into a sky full of dragons, Ensign? Besides, our tide sages are putting in work.
I suppose that is an understandable fear for a flightless creature.
The fantasy of being on the ships. Arr, we be setting sail. Land ho!
Looky there, Wildfeather. A whole new land to explore.
Mountains to climb.
Ruins to delve.
New species to discover. Award-winning photographs to take. Famous dragon autographs to acquire. And flip far above normal resale value.
Focus. Obsidian warders, stay alert on approach.
That's where the Horde lands. And the Alliance lands over here.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles, explorers.
Come on, Wildfeather. Off to the next adventure. Go first, but I've got a story after.
So, just to let you guys know and show you guys on camera, this is what it's like when you bring an alt here after you have finished the main campaign. This is why I was wanting to finish the main story campaign before I did the side quest stuff, was because I wanted to be able to unlock this stuff in hopes, because what I was saying was, I loved the Threads of Fate system that they introduced in Shadowlands. I thought it was a great idea that if you didn't want to have to go through all the story stuff all over again with your characters, you could if you want, that was your choice. But you also had an option to instead be like, I want to do some more open world stuff where I can be able to have the option to just do dungeons, do world quests to be able to get access to certain pieces of gear to fill out certain slots. Because you'll notice here, and this is because of a couple of add-ons I have that lets me be able to look at world quests better. You can see here, I can look at the various different world quests that are offering different pieces of gear, and I can see if they are offering anything in certain slots that I need to be filled or replaced. Now, none of them are showing that because of the other add-on I have, which is Pawn. So, unfortunately, it looks like there's no world quest for either, say, a headpiece, a back piece, or legs, or a trinket, but that stuff I can just try and get while I am in dungeons. Now, I did find out that you have to make sure that your character is item level 180 in order to queue for Dragonflight dungeons. So keep that in mind. If you show up at the Dragon Isles under 180, you are going to have to do a bit of either questing or world questing or what have you to get some pieces of gear before you can actually start doing dungeons, if you want to try and take advantage of that to, say, level and such, because if you'll notice, at level 60, if I queue up for a Dragonflight dungeon, a random one, I'll get an extra bit of XP in terms of 54,000 XP, which right here you'll see, that's a good chunk of my XP bar right now. So let's just say that, this is really where, I'm about to end the video here, because that's basically all I have to show you guys. It's just that experience of getting on the ship and sailing over here to the Dragon Isles, because now what I could do is I can just hop on one of my dragon riding mounts here, and I can just take off to wherever I want to go, to do whatever world quest I want, or if I want to unlock Flight Masters, or I could fly to Valdrassus and go to Valdraken and just find my Hearthstone there right away. Just go ahead and just, be there, take advantage of any quests here. You'll see there's other story quests here and there if you want to go ahead and start questing there instead. But that's really up to you, honestly. You'll also notice the campaign progress. I don't necessarily have to. If I wanted to I can go ahead and just continue the campaign here by accepting the quest to Jumpstart, which is in Valdraken. So yeah, you don't have to do the campaign. I'll bet you still could if you wanted to, but there's really no need to. And so I'm kind of curious about where it's like, hey, do you want to do a jump start? Which I guess is another way to kind of work on your alts in terms of helping them get a little bit of a boost. This is the only issue I have is that sometimes it conflicts with Actually, hold on. Some of these are a little off. There we go. So I like to have, yeah. No, hold on. There we go. Forward, ascent, burst, and time block. So, but sometimes these add-ons will just kind of have these conflicts. It's a little strange. I don't know why it says that this add-on has blocked an action when I'm literally hitting the 2 button and it tells me this. And I'm just like, how is that possible? I don't really understand how that is an issue, but I don't know. Whatever. So then I just have to disable it and it'll work out fine, I guess, but it's just one of those weird issues. I don't really understand how that really works, but hey, now all of a sudden it works fine. So anyways. So the only thing I can think of is, to continue what I'm talking about here, is if I head on over to Valdrakken, although now that I'm, yeah. So at the moment, instead, let's go ahead and quickly just go right down here and just kind of bind my Hearthstone just in case.
Only the best for Dragon.
And you'll notice that once you make contact here, then all of a sudden, boom, another major faction unlock happens. So yeah, you also start with level 1. It doesn't seem as if you're going to be able to actually have some of the rep stuff that's going on that's account bound, it seems. In terms of renown. Now, from what I have seen, there are ways to do this as a catch-up later on your main. So, that, for example, there is something right here. Look at this right here. This is an account unlock. You're standing with the Dragon Scale Expedition will allow your other characters on this account to gain 100% additional reputation with the Dragon Scale Expedition while their renown is below rank 10. So once I get this on my main, then all my alts will have a whole bunch of extra reputation with their renown. Now, I will say it does seem as if the renown thing is not necessarily a count. I could be wrong. Maybe it will be later on. It just doesn't seem that way at the moment. So I'm a little concerned about that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see, like, once I actually test it out to find out whether or not that's actually going to be the case. But anyways, that's something I want to go ahead and show you guys in the meantime. Let me go ahead and get my Wrathguard. I don't know why he's not up and about. There we go. So anyways, that's basically all I have to show you guys for the moment. I'm actually really curious, but you're going to have to give me a moment here because it's going to take me just a little bit to try and make my way over from here to Valdrakken. Just going to have to give me a moment here, especially because, well, you know, even though I've got all the glyphs, sometimes if you're having to constantly fly down, the Thrill of the Skies won't work if you're flying up. So just give me a minute and I'll see whether or not this Jumpstart quest here is actually going to be something that is specifically for alts. I'm not entirely sure about that, but we'll find out once we get there. So anyways. Alright, so I was actually heading the wrong direction. So here we go. Now we are in Thaldraszus, just like that. Blizz, add this dragon riding to the rest of the game, please. Just like regular flying already now feels super slow. Please let us have this in the rest of the game. That would be amazing. Okay, never mind. So the Jumpstart thing is literally the, hey, here's the device thing. So never mind on that. That's something else I'll be doing on my main character. But anyways. But what this also, now that I'm here, what this now allows me to do is if I wanted to, since this of course is the main hub city and you're gonna, you know, we're gonna be here a lot. So let's just go ahead and now go over here and I'll be able to bind my Hearthstone to the Innkeeper here in Valdrakken.
The city's finest wares.
And see, just like that, on an alt that I just got to the Dragon Isles, we have already gotten to Valdrakken. So, in a way, it's sort of like a skip, except there was no opening scenario here. And I think that was an excellent decision, because that was one of the things that irritated me in Shadowlands was, you guys know how if you hopped on an alt early in Shadowlands, you had to go through that opening scenario in the Maw, like, each time on a character just to get to Oribos and do the Threads of Fate. It wasn't until like later, like 2 patches later, that they finally added a skip. When at first they were like, no, we're not going to do a skip there. And I'm like, why? You added it in Legion, you added it in BFA, why would you not add it in Shadowlands? So this time they were like, yeah, we're not going to do some kind of opening scenario thing that players are going to hate doing multiple times and want to skip. We're just going to let you just, bam, right away from the get-go, have access to the open world stuff and world quests and all that. So, anyways, if there does seem to end up being extra stuff that you can be able to experience on other classes or whatever, I'll try and find it and capture it on camera for you guys. Other than that, this may be the only video that I do outside the main playthrough because it looks like there may not be much of a need to do so. Unless I accidentally skip something on my main character and I have to show it on a different character. I don't know. But I will try and figure that out when I can. So, in the meantime, I'm going to get to work on some alts or get back on my main to do some renown grinding. And I will see you guys next time.